Jeep Gladiator auto stop misconceptions. Did you think this? Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Robotive JT. Today I wanted to talk about some Jeep Gladiator auto stop misconceptions because, frankly, I kind of had a couple of them myself. So I thought it would be interesting to kind of go over them and see if indeed you guys had the same misconceptions. Real quick, before we get into it, make sure, if you haven't before, you smash that subscribe button and click that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. So today I'm out cruising around and I forgot to do something that I try to remember to do every time I get in the Jeep Gladiator, and that is to hit that button right down there that turns off the auto stop system. The bane of modern driving, as far as I'm concerned. I can't stand the system, so if I come off as biased against auto stop, it's because I am. I think it's one of the dumbest, if not the dumbest, systems they've put in modern vehicles to date. So if you're not familiar with it, and if you have a newer vehicle or a Jeep Gladiator, then I would think you are, but the auto stop system turns the vehicle off, in this case the Jeep Gladiator, when you come to a stop. Now, there are a couple of ways to defeat it. You can not press the brake all the way down to the floor. A lot of people say, well, just do that. Well, that's great, but I find that when I stop, especially if I'm going to be sitting for a couple of minutes or whatever, I tend to put more pressure on the brake just to make sure that, I don't roll up to the guy in front of me. And the system kicks in. Cannot stand it. Always makes me think, even though I've had it for quite some time now, that something's wrong with the vehicle. I mean, I'm just conditioned, I guess, that when a vehicle shuts off and you didn't do it, it's because there's a problem. So I always panic when it happens, even today. But let's talk about the misconceptions of the auto stop system. Number one, it saves gas. The auto stop system was not designed to save gas. It is designed to reduce auto emissions. When you're sitting somewhere for a long period of time, obviously the Gladiator is running under normal circumstances. Well, while it's running, things are coming out of that tailpipe in the back. Emissions. So, as a way to reduce emissions, some brilliant engineer came up with this system. It is not designed to save gas. If anything, I would argue that the auto stop system costs you more in gas, because the time that the vehicle uses the most gas inefficiently is when it starts. So if you're somewhere where that system is constantly going off and on and off and on, and the Gladiator is stopping and starting and stopping and starting, think of all the extra gas that you're burning. For instance, rush hour traffic, maybe you're even in bumper-to-bumper traffic on the freeway or cruising around an urban area where there are lots of stops and you continuously have to stop the vehicle, the system activates, you're burning more gas. So from a fuel economy standpoint, doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Secondly, wear on the vehicle altogether. Again, the worst time for a vehicle is when you start it. That's when you jolt the system, get everything flowing through, and that's when most problems can occur. And of course, every time the auto stop system kicks in, you're putting more stress on the engine and the other components. The air conditioning, the heater. When the truck shuts off, none of that stuff runs. It can't, because the battery is not strong enough to run the air conditioning, let's say, while you're stopped. Now, some auto stop systems out there, which is how they should all be, won't shut off if you're running the air conditioning full blast, which makes sense because, again, as the driver, you're trying to stay cool, and if you've got the air conditioning running at full blast, doesn't make a lot of sense for it to shut off for the auto stop system to kick in. Now, let's talk about the starter. There's been a lot of chatter out there about manufacturers putting in more robust starters. to accommodate the auto stop system. I have never seen any concrete proof of that. Matter of fact, I would argue that that's not the case at all. Because if they put more robust starters in, then that's going to increase the price to manufacture to them. They're not going to do that. Why would they do that? So you're going to have more troubles with the starter in the long run. Now, that's not to say that it's going to fail 2 weeks after you get the truck. Of course not. But if you're into keeping your vehicle long term, you can bet that you're going to have starter and other component issues attributable to the auto stop system. Again, a system that I am highly biased against, you might be able to tell, and I don't think should exist at all. And the other thing I was thinking about that is, if it is such a profound device, such a revolutionary step forward in emissions reduction, why is it optional? Why is there a button that I can shut it off at all? Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. You would think if it's that efficient and that big of a deal, you wouldn't have a choice. Much like putting seat belts in the car. You know, I don't believe you can buy a vehicle now without seat belts. They do have a profound effect. Doesn't mean that you have to wear it, but it is in every truck. The auto stop system, if it is that big a deal, should not be optional. But speaking of that button, and what has never made any sense to me, I'm going to ramble for a minute, is why you can't push the button one time to disable the system completely until you, as the owner, driver, push that button again. It's never made much sense to me. I had a vehicle a while back, many years ago, and it did have that option. Once you push the button, the system would not be active again until you reactivated it by pushing the button. They could easily do that. I mean, if you're going to put a button in the vehicle that disables the system, why in the world do you not have the option to push it one time and have that system deactivated until you push it again? Just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Now, there is one other minor little thing about the auto stop system, which I'm sure has come into play for some folks out there, and that is panic. You know, when you're sitting at a stoplight, the vehicle shuts off, I wonder how many rear-ending accidents have been caused because people have panicked when they go again, realize the vehicle is off, that little split second right before it kicks in again, so they give it a little bit more gas, the system reactivates, and they jut forward. You know that's happened. I just wonder how frequently. Anyway, leave a comment. Let me know. Were you under the impression that the auto stop system was actually saving you gas? I'd be curious to know. Also, if you did in the beginning, make sure you smash that subscribe button and click that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. I do have 2 additional channels. Rob Motive, all about the Toyota Tacoma. And Rob Motive FST, all about full-size trucks. Check them out, and if you're interested, why not subscribe? Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.